You're down 14 going into the fourth, and you stick with the guys who got you there. It was just a matter of just going to let them decide this game because they got you back into it.
For sure. And, third game in 4 nights, so for Dre and Steph especially, I wasn't going to, chase this game and add up the minutes for them. And with that second unit playing so well, it absolutely made sense just to stay with them.
What did you see from Jonathan tonight, particularly in the second half?
Yeah, he came in and had great energy, attacked the rim, made some shots. I thought JK was really good, and it's a great sign. With Jimmy out, obviously there's a hole in at that spot on our roster. So JK is going to factor in here again, and really pleased with the way he stayed ready and stayed prepared, and got his opportunity and played really well.
Steve, did you know you were going to play Jonathan? Maybe not that much, but you were going to play him tonight.
Yeah.
Did you know he was going to be prepared to play like this tonight?
It's been a month or so since he's played, and we haven't had any practices, so it's hard to have any idea how someone's going to play in that set of circumstances. But he was really good.
You had a extended conversation with him right after he hits the three and his night's over. Is there any particular message at that point?
Well, I was really asking about conditioning and whether he wanted to play the last couple of minutes, and it just felt like the right time to take him out. 21 minutes is a lot when you haven't played in a while, and he had a good night, and it just felt like. And I told him I was going to bring in the our two-way guys, and I gave him the option if he wanted to stay or not for additional conditioning, and he told me he was fine coming out.
Buddy hit a bunch of shots tonight. You guys are going to be searching for, it sounds like, you said pregame, potentially experimenting, and he's a guy who over the course of his career could get really hot for long stretches. How important is it to see what he did off the bench?
Buddy, the last 4 games has just been lighting it up, and just one of the most professional players I've ever coached. Just the energy, the spirit, whether he's playing or not, what he brings to the gym every day is just amazing. And I think he's being rewarded for that approach and that attitude and the work that he keeps putting in. He's the first guy here, on game days, getting in his work in the training room, the weight room, and kept himself in great shape. So it's really, really fun to see Buddy performing after being out of the loop for a while.
Steve, 6-2 on the homestand. Obviously, you lost Jimmy, but how do you sort of assess where this team is at right now moving forward?
Great homestand. Toronto was amazing tonight. 21 for 34 from 3. They couldn't miss. They had a great plan. They came in and took it to us early, and we were obviously trying to swim upstream the entire game. So it happens. We've been the team making all the threes the last few games, and we were probably due for one like this where our opponent made them all. But we move on, and great homestand, but now we got to go out on the road and win some games.
What went into your decision to start Brandon, and is this how your starting lineup will look going forward?
Playmaking, knowing how Toronto was going to guard Steph, basically almost like a box and one, hounding him everywhere. So I wanted another playmaker, guy who could handle the ball and distribute. And Brandon's been playing extremely well lately, and it was an easy decision.
Hey, Steve, going back to Jonathan Kuminga, did you see anything from him? You talked about just experimenting with lineups. Did you see anything from him that might warrant a possible starting position in the future?
Everything's a possibility right now. I think, when you have an injury to not only one of your best players, but one of the best players in the league, it just changes everything. The puzzle completely changes. And so we will definitely experiment with some different lineups and combinations. And, one guy affects the other 4. And so it will be under consideration for sure.
Were there combinations you kind of liked tonight, even though the game?
Second unit was amazing. Coming in and putting pressure on Toronto, getting us back in the game, giving us a chance. But every game's different. You have to get a feel, for things over a longer stretch, and we'll be taking a look at this game, obviously, but we'll experiment in these next several games and try to find the right combinations. Thank you.